Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Kenya Rockman, author and founder of the Child Support Hustle, founder of the Reform Child Support Now movement. Let me know if you can't hear me. I'm in the airport, so I want to come on real quick. I know it's early, so I know I can record this and you guys can come back later and watch it. But I wanted to discuss again about child support being voluntary and be a little bit more specific about why I say that. Because when I post the original video that I made about the child support system being voluntary, I get a lot of feedback, which is good because it starts the discussion about how is it voluntary and what are you talking about? Because everybody tells me I have to be on child support. You do not have to be on child support. Okay. What happens is that when a custodial parent, and for this video, I'm going to only use a custodial parent as a mother and the non-custodial parent as a father, just to keep everything down, keep it simple, because we know that there are custodial parents that are fathers and vice versa. Okay, but for this, we're going to have mother as custodial, father as non-custodial. Okay, so this in a nutshell, and it took me a long time to figure out how they were able to do this. The child support system, as I've always said, and many people say, is a welfare recovery program. Once you get that, once you, I can't, I'm looking at myself, it's like I'm going opposite ways, I'm sorry. Once you get that and understand that this program was developed to recover welfare expenditures, money spent on low income and poor people, to provide and help them. Good morning.
Good morning, Mama.
So the government came back and said, we need to recover this money, regardless that taxpayers pay for this money. They want this money back. Okay, so I know I was corrected that food stamps and child care and those are social programs, not necessarily welfare. But for TANF and for Medicaid, CHIP programs, medical, those are welfare programs. You have to sue for child support to get those programs. The mom has to sue the dad. Okay, that's mandatory. If they don't, they can't get those benefits. The other programs is specific by state. So when you see somebody say, oh, if they were taking care of their kid, they wouldn't be on child support, that is false. Not everybody with a child support order is on child support because they don't take care of their children. It's just not true. Okay, so they have to get this money back. And one of the main criteria for them to for a person to get public benefits is that father has to be absent from the home. So the key words in this is absent, abandoned, deserted. And that's the reason why those are key words, is because this system is based on a common law theory, or a moral law. Morally, you're supposed to take care of your children, right? Morally, you have a responsibility to take care of your children. We know that. Nobody at the Child Support Hustle, and I'm sure in any organization, has ever said, do not take care of your children. Do not provide for your offspring. That's never been anything that we said, for sure. So when you look at those, let me put my phone on real quick. No, I always have problems seeing the comments. I'm not going to do it this time. I know now. Okay. And that's the reason why. Okay, now we're on words. Let me just turn it down. Okay, so we got the key words: abandoned, deserted, and absent. So when they have those words, okay, so the mom goes in and applies for benefits. She can go, and this was the common law theory was meant for married people. It was not meant for unmarried people. Hey, Isaac. Okay, so traditionally, or back in the day, this has been around since the 1300s. I wrote about this, so it's in more detail so you can understand. It's real lengthy, so that's why I want to break it down. But I put the link up there. It's common law theory. So remember, back then, the man was the breadwinner. The woman stayed home with the kids. She didn't go out and work. So once he abandoned the family, they were left destitute. So that meant like churches, family members, everybody like that had to pick up the slack and take care of that family and those children. Well, relying on those outside sources, those people or that church or that entity was providing the basic needs of the child, they could then go back and sue the father, deserter, the abandoner, I don't know if that's a word, but the deserter for the necessities that they provided for the family, right? So the common law theory, and this is not verbatim, this is just me talking. Common law theory allows the third party, nowadays is the government, right? That applies to unmarried parents, the right to sue. The government can now sue as a third party, where it used to be a family member or a church. Now it's the government that can come back and sue the non-custodial parent for one, abandonment, and two, for the cost of providing for for you abandoning your child and them providing basic needs for your offspring, which is in Title 4D cases, TANF, any welfare, any food stamps, depending on your state. And I always say that TANF cases, the welfare cases, is the bread and butter of the child support system. Non-TANF cases, casualties. The government will get money from those cases, but the money is minuscule compared to the money that's made on Title 4D cases. And for anybody that thinks that custody cases and child support or shared parenting and child support is not related or interrelated, the two go hand in hand. Can't have reform to the child custody issue without having reform or some type of without fixing the child support issue. They go together. Don't let anybody tell you it's separate. It's not. The courts can tell you it's separate because they get more money, but these issues are intertwined. Okay. So the custodial parent applies for assistance. Like I said, the caseworker asks about the dad. The dad could be sitting right next to you, okay, in the home or whatever. But that caseworker is going to say that that father abandoned the kids because if he's there, why does she need assistance? Now he might be providing, both might be making minimum wage, but it's not enough, so they have to go and get medical care. We all know medical insurance is expensive at jobs, especially part-time jobs or minimum wage jobs. So they have to go and get some help. If you have to apply for food stamps, which now SNAP is, the USDA is asking for states to require that parents sue for SNAP benefits. They sue for child support, so they're trying to get money on that end. So they're saying, no, you abandoned. So now they're going after dad. Now, if dad agrees to their terms, he'll sign something. Now he's on child support. Fellas, I don't know how many times I have to say it, never put yourself on child support. Never, ever, ever. I don't care who's in your ear. I don't care what they say. Never put yourself on child support. That's putting yourself in 18 plus years of hell. Putting yourself on parole, probation, getting your license suspended if you miss a payment, etc., etc. Your taxes, tax time, your taxes getting suspended if you miss a payment. You can take care of your children without going through the system, and that's why I say it's voluntary. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you some more stuff. Ryan, I would love to set the meeting up. I'll let Senator Cruz know exactly this, and I have the facts to prove it. Now, if he doesn't agree, the state now files a lawsuit against dad, right? This is just like any other lawsuit. You have a plaintiff, the state, on behalf of mom, saying this guy has abandoned our family and refuses to take care of our child. So the state now picks up the burden and pays for the basic expenses, right? So here's where the child support hustle comes in. This is where it starts as far as, and it took me a long time it took a long time to figure this out. And I didn't figure it out, I actually read it. And you can see the sources in that link I put up, okay? Government, based on the common law theory, cannot get a legal judgment against a father or a deserter for money that has not been spent yet. So when you get called into court, this is why they go back to the birth of the child. Even if you go to court and you just found out about your child, you had no idea, they're always going to go back to when the child was born, because they're saying essentially they've been providing for the child for, say, a 10-year-old for 10 years. Then you're in arrears. So now they can say that you owe money from arrears because they provided those basic necessities for your child. even though you weren't there to sign to be able to say, hey, I don't need you to take care of my kid. I'm taking care of my child just fine. You're not given that opportunity. That's why I say this is voluntary. One of the reasons. Because a father in this situation, in this common law theory, which is all this is based on, is not granted the opportunity to come in and say, I will provide for my child. You don't have, like in my case, I was on public assistance. My child's father didn't get to come in and say, I don't want her to be on these benefits. I will take over, and I don't want her to have these benefits. So he did not have a say in whether I got those benefits or not. You see what I'm saying? That and it's especially true for dads by default. They don't even have a say because they don't get to show up for court. And process servers that lie and forge on those complaints, notorious. You never get a say. Well, they're getting exposed more. This stuff has been going on for a long time, but like I said, this stuff, Isaac, is buried. It's buried under layers and layers and layers of paper and bureaucracy and all this kind of stuff. But now we're bringing it to the top. So now you have more ammunition to fight these cases with, which I want to get to. So the overseer of the hearing is declaring that since the day that the child was born, you, the father, have abandoned your child. I might have went through this. And due to the desertion, the government has been providing X amount of dollars for X number of years, and because of the judgment, you are now late on the payment, and they have the authority to charge you interest. So you now owe the government a grand total of whatever they pull out of the sky, which is a fake debt. It's smoke and mirrors. But now you have a leg to stand on because you can say, hey, I wasn't aware and you didn't give me the opportunity, because it's a lawsuit. So you're the defendant. So it's up to them to prove that you didn't do what they claim, which is abandon and fail to provide. So now all the current supports may go to the child or the state. It depends, because we know a lot of arrears most states will keep the child support payments. It's called pass-through. They'll pass through up to $200. The least amount is $50, but 26 states won't pass through anything. It goes all to the state because they're claiming themselves as a third party for taking care of your abandoned child. So okay. I wrote this down, but really when I start talking about it, I don't need to read the notes. So here's some things that you can do to protect yourself when you go in and you say, well, this is the voluntary part. And this is just the bare minimum, but this is just something, hey, Celine, that these are some things that you can do going in now. If you have a child support case and this was your situation, I would appeal it. I would appeal the case. You didn't abandon your child. You want that child support order closed and get to your business and finding out how you can do it. But if you're getting sued now, it's a new case, and you get or you a new father, and like I said, this is for fathers, because for this live, when you have a child, I'm going to urge all new fathers to get a DNA test. Yes, it might piss off your child's mother or offend her, but protect yourself, because paternity fraud is an epidemic, and I'm telling you, it's hell to try to get these cases closed. It's called paternity rescission. Once these cases are declared, when you're declared the father, and you see these cases on TV or on YouTube, Cornell Alexander brought this to light like 5 years ago when it wasn't his child, but yet he owed 60 something thousand, had been in jail for a child that wasn't his. This is an epidemic. So protect yourself. It's not offensive. It's just you protecting yourself, protecting your child. Get a paternity test, and that way you can nip this all in the bud. Okay, so whether or not whether you're with the other parent or not, start keeping track. And this is if you're with your baby's mom, your dad, baby's dad, start keeping track of what you spend your money on. Because if you guys split up and you get sued for child support, You want to document what you spent and how you supported your child, because they're saying basically in the lawsuit you've abandoned, deserted your child, you haven't provided for your child. Now, if you're buying clothes, I know somebody that's gave the baby's mom $5,000 when the baby was born, diapers, everything. They looked at that as a gift. They didn't even consider he didn't have any documentation. So document everything. Just get you a folder, a notebook, put your receipts in there, and just keep it. Just keep it somewhere that nobody even knows. Keep it at your mom's house. Every time you buy something, you got to document it just in case. I'm gonna tell you what I know. I've met over the years of my advocacy, fathers that have been rich, not a good job. I'm talking about rich, that have ended up living in friends' basements, riding a bus with no money because of the family court system, and they were providing, but the judges looked at the money that they spent as gifts because they couldn't prove it. The judges are going to look at it as gifts anyways, all in this book. Okay, they look at this, and I wrote about this too. You go to the childsupporthustle.com, I have blogs galore that explain this stuff in detail. Okay, so you want to keep record of what you spend your money on when it comes to your child. Never pay cash. If you are paying rent, if you're paying utilities, if you're buying groceries, whatever you're doing, if you're buying clothes, never pay cash. If you do a check, put in there what it's for, and put child support. If you're Cash App, child support in the memo. Money order, child support. Notate everything that you spend. Now, if it's something that you consider a gift, a sucker, a lollipop, something like that, Chuck E. Cheese, it's a gift. Make that a gift. But if it's not, you make sure you keep a record and you put child support on there. So when you go to court, you have detailed records. You tell them, I didn't abandon my child and I don't need to be on child support. I don't need to be in your system. So that's what I mean by voluntary. Make them prove that you deserted, abandoned, don't financially provide, because there are good fathers out here. Okay, I gotta get ready to go, y'all. Let me see. I think I got very bored. Okay, guys, I'm about to go. If you want to support the movement, you go to Child Support Hustle. The Child Support Hustle t-shirts. We're also selling Fuck Child Support t-shirts. You can get the Child Support Hustle book online on Amazon, or you can get it in print, all on the website. You can donate. It's $TCSH, the number 1. All the proceeds go to the movement fighting for reform, okay? Remember, they can ignore hundreds, they can ignore thousands, but they cannot ignore millions. Let's go. If I can end this.